Hey guys, ask and you shall receive. I received a few requests to make another military video, and so if you're ready for a story that is spicy, that includes a military man that's set on the beaches of Puerto Rico and also includes phone SEX, then I got a story for you. Give me a like while the intro plays. I told you this was gonna be tough, but okay, I'm gonna dive right into this, guys. So it does take place in Puerto Rico, specifically Rosie Roads, which was an old naval base. It isn't there anymore. And I went there with the military on a temporary detachment. Now, usually what happens with a temporary detachment is that the base would try to get office space for you so you can do your stuff. And in this case, like, we didn't have a lot of space. All of the rooms were tiny, especially for me. Without getting too technical, there was a machine, a computer that I operated, which was like looked like one of those computers from the 1960s or 70s with the lights and the beep, 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 and, you know, printing out on the printer, like all that kind of stuff. It was an old computer that I had to work on. And so it was in this room, which was about the size of a closet. There really wasn't much room there except for that computer and for me, the operator. So on this detachment, that computer, it just wasn't acting right, and so I eventually had to call IT to come out and take a look at it. So the IT dude shows up, and he was such a good-looking dude. Like, okay, I call him Michigan Man, and that's only because, like, in boot camp, there was tons of guys from Michigan, and they all seemed to have a similar features, physical features, to where they had like that pearly white skin, like jet black hair, and where their beard would be, because of course they had to shave, but there was still kind of like this blue tint that remained. And so I just always called that look the Michigan Man. So he was Michigan Man. And so again, with this space being so small and him trying to, you know, I'm trying to assist him as we're troubleshooting, and so it was happening a lot to where we kept like having to rub on each other as we were like crossing to get to different areas of the computer. And so that was actually happening a lot, like a lot, to the point where I was like, you don't do anything, you stay still. But you know, I'm a professional. I kept things professional. And so, I don't know, we really got along well. And because of that, I found that he was coming by to see me, even though there was nothing wrong. And he would say, I just want to, you know, hang out, because he was actually in the same building that I was in. And he's like, I'm bored. I just, you know, want to talk to you. So, you know, I'm totally cool with that. Not thinking anything of it, because dude had a wedding band. And so one day, my command decides to have a picnic on the beach on this base. Now the base was huge, and there really was a lot of one of the most beautiful bases that I had ever been on, like beaches and all of these, you know, volleyball courts, and like just, it kind of looked like a resort in many ways. And so we had this barbecue cookout on the beach, and so they invite him. We're all out there just drinking and eating barbecue. Like, it was a great time. And I'm, you know, social butterfly, so I'm just kind of talking with everyone there. But I just so happened to look, and I see where he's kind of just sitting on the beach by himself, you know, just away from everyone else. And so I decide to, you know, I walk up to him, hey, what's up, man? So I sit down next to him, and he had a bottle. It was alcohol, but I don't even know what it was, but it was like a big bottle, and he's getting hammered, right? So he's like offered me some, and so now we're both just sitting on the beach by each other, just getting totally hammered, just taking shots of whatever alcohol it was. I don't remember. And I could tell that he was kind of depressed, and so I was like, hey, you know, what's going on? So eventually he tells me that him and his wife like had been separated for a long time, you know, like, and the divorce process was beginning, and he was sad, and not so much sad about not being with his wife, because I think he didn't want to be with her, but just sad at failing at a marriage, and I believe they had a couple of kids. And so like just that part of it, just breaking up the family part, kind of bothered him. But again, he knew that he wanted to move on. And so we're having this conversation, and I, I just want to be an ear for him. I wanted to be a shoulder for him to lean on. And we stayed there for a long time, to the point to where the sun is starting to set. And then he starts, asking me personal questions about myself. And so I end up telling him that I was gay, and he said he was cool with it. With, kind of talking about me more. And so I'm just filling him in on my deets. And the sun is setting, and he goes, "Isn't this beautiful?" And he's like, he says something about, I've never experienced a sunset with a hot guy before. And I'm like, like laughing, like, this is a joke, right? So I said something like, "I think maybe you had one too many shots." And he's like, "Yeah, maybe I did." And he goes, "But I'm gonna go for it." And he reaches over and like kisses me, like just like a little quick tap kiss. And we kind of like both went back like, and I just went, "F this." So I went back, I kissed him some more, and this is on the military base. We're kind of just like rolling around in the sand, just like making out. And yeah, it didn't go further than us just kind of making out, and a little fondling was going on, but nothing more than that. And I could tell that he was nervous. And you guys know this about me too. There was at one point I was super nervous, and so I could relate to that, and I didn't want to kind of like push anything or try to make him go any faster than he wanted to go. So I kind of just respected that. We had our moment. So we exchanged numbers. And so I go back home. We're calling each other, just like, not anything crazy, just like friends. We're like, "Hey, I'm just checking in on you. How you doing?" One time though, he goes, "Hey, so I want to ask you, like, do you ever think about what happened with us, like on the beach? And like, did you enjoy that? Did you have fun with that?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I had a blast." Did you? I didn't want to intrude, but since you bring it up, he said, "Yeah, I think about it all the time." He goes, "I really think that that's something that I might want to explore." And at this point, again, he's stationed in Puerto Rico. I'm not. So I'm back on the mainland. And so it wasn't necessarily a thing about, I don't think it was like maybe you and I, it wasn't one of those things. I kind of felt like maybe if I can help him discover himself, like it was kind of like that situation. That's really all I was thinking about doing for him. He said something that was a little risque, and I remember saying something like, "Oh, are you trying to have phone sex?" And he said, "Oh," he goes, "I've never done that. Have you?" And I said, "No, I never have. I don't know how." I was kind of criticizing it or critiquing it, thinking like, I don't know how anyone could how do you climax from just talking to someone on the phone? It just didn't make sense to me. And so we're laughing about that. And I remember he said "So do you want to let's just play around with it, let's just make a joke, have fun with it." And I said, "Okay, that's cool." So we start, oh gosh, I don't want to give every little detail about what we talked about. It was something like, well, he's like, "Okay, now what would you do to me?" And I described everything from taking off his clothes and laying him down, and I went into full detail. And I remember him saying to me I'm excited. And when he said that, oh my gosh, I don't even know, because again, I didn't think that it would be possible that I could do that. But when he told me that he was excited, I was there. And then it was just like that, a switch was flipped and it was on, and we were both deep into the phone sex. And again, I don't want to give too much detail, but I will say that it was one of the best climaxes that I had ever had in my life. After that, we actually were friends on Facebook. We still chat with each other every once in a while, and he has come out the closet. He has a partner. Everything's super cool with him. I did learn a lesson from that though, and it was that I think before that, I really did not have a concept that sex could be more than just physical. You know, for me, that's all that it could be. And that moment really changed. Like I seriously, the next day and for days after, I'm thinking about that moment. Like, wow, I cannot believe that had such an effect on me, something that I didn't think that would. And so I did learn from that wow, maybe if I could incorporate that even when you are having physical activity and still incorporate that mental part of it, which to be honest with you, I hadn't done that before. It was just more like, let's just, get this over with. Let's just do this. It really changed so much of my sex life. Like, it really did, in the best way possible. Yeah, I learned a lot about myself and my body and my sexuality by having phone sex. It was a big moment for me in my life, and in coming to terms with accepting my entire sexuality. As always, a like would be great, subscribe would be even better, but most importantly, comment and let me know if you ever had phone sex. And even more importantly than that, I just want to know, was there a moment to where you kind of connected the mental part of your sexuality with the physical part of your sexuality? Did you have that moment? I'd love to hear it.